All right, we're back. And I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel like a WhatsApp privacy expert.
Well, it is a complex landscape.
It is. But I think we've established that the WhatsApp Business Cloud API is the best option for businesses that really care about privacy.
Right.
But even then, there's still a lot of things to think about, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's not as simple as just like picking the cloud API and then you're done.
Exactly, exactly. We talked about finding a GDPR-compliant BSP, being transparent with customers about how you're processing their data, anonymizing data.
Hmm.
It seems like a lot to juggle.
It is. It is. There are a lot of moving parts.
Speaking of moving parts, let's go back to WhatsApp's dual role as both data controller and data processor.
Okay.
You mentioned this earlier, but can you give us some concrete examples of how this actually plays out in real life? Like,
Right.
what are some things that businesses need to be extra careful about? Sure. So let's think about it this way. When it comes to the content of messages, the actual words, WhatsApp acts as a data processor.
Okay.
They're just transmitting the data, and because of that end-to-end encryption, they can't see what's in those messages.
Right. So for the message content, WhatsApp is just the messenger. But when it comes to metadata, they get to call the shots.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
They collect it, they store it, and they decide how it's used. And that's where things can get a little, well, tricky for businesses.
Okay, I'm listening. How does this impact businesses using WhatsApp?
So let's say you're a business and you're using WhatsApp to chat with your customers in the EU. You need to make sure everything you're doing is, aligned with GDPR, right?
Right.
Which means you need a legitimate reason for processing any personal data. And that includes all the metadata that WhatsApp is collecting.
So even though WhatsApp is the one who is collecting that data, businesses are still responsible for making sure it's being used legally. That's a pretty big responsibility.
It is. And it really highlights how important it is to really look closely at WhatsApp's privacy policy, their terms of use, the terms of your BSP. You need to understand exactly what they're doing with the data and make sure it fits with your own privacy obligations.
Wow. Okay. So businesses really need to be proactive and do their research, huh? No, just blindly trusting WhatsApp.
Absolutely, yeah. Ignorance is not an excuse when it comes to data protection.
All right. So we need to be diligent. But what are some practical steps that businesses can actually take, to make sure they're using WhatsApp in a way that's, actually compliant with all these regulations?
One of the most important things is having a really clear and concise privacy policy,
Okay.
specifically about how you're using WhatsApp. This policy needs to spell out exactly what data you are collecting, how you're going to use it, and what steps you're taking to protect it.
And make it easy to understand, right? No one wants to read pages and pages of legal jargon.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm.
Keep it simple, keep it straightforward, use language that everyone can understand, and make sure your customers can easily find it. Like put a link on your website, in your email signature, even in your WhatsApp messages.
Okay, so basically, shout it from the rooftops. Transparency seems to be like the golden rule when it comes to WhatsApp and data privacy.
Exactly. The more transparent you are with your customers about how their data is being used, the more trust you build. And trust is like the foundation of any good business relationship.
That's a good point. Trust is valuable. Now, before we wrap up, I want to go back to those AI-powered features. We talked about some of the potential privacy risks, but can you maybe expand on that a little bit? Like what kind of specific challenger are we talking about here?
Well, as AI gets more integrated into WhatsApp business, we're bound to see new challenges come up. It's like a constantly evolving landscape.
That's a little unsettling. Can you maybe give us some concrete examples?
One big concern is bias.
Bias, okay.
AI algorithms, they're trained on data. And if that data is biased, the algorithm's going to inherit that bias. And this can lead to outcomes that are, well, unfair.
Oh, I see. So, for example, an AI-powered chatbot might treat customers differently based on their gender or race. That's a scary thought.
Yeah, exactly. It's a real risk, and businesses need to be so careful. They need to make sure that the AI tools they're using are fair, and they need to constantly be checking for any potential biases.
So it's not just about setting up the AI and then forgetting about it. You need to keep a close eye on things.
You do. You need to actively manage your AI systems and make sure things are fair.
Are there any other potential risks with AI that businesses should be thinking about?
Another big one is data security. AI systems, they rely on massive amounts of data.
Right.
And if that data isn't properly secured,